So the Astros spent 7 hours climbing out of a 7-run grave. Michael Brantley, Astro 63, right here, put the last shovel of dirt on Seattle. September 5, 2019, Minute Maid Park. Houston comes in at 90 and 50, already looking less like a team trying to reach October, more like a team deciding what shape it wants to take once it gets there. The rotation has Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, and the newly acquired Zach Greinke. The lineup is deep enough that somebody dangerous is always waiting 2 hitters away. Maximum. The Astros comfortably lead the AL West, and their magic number is 15. So division survival isn't the issue. Home field advantage matters a little bit. Keeping the machine moving matters. Once you've built a team this good, every ordinary September game becomes a small test of whether you'll keep behaving like the favorite. Seattle, meanwhile, is living in a different universe. The Mariners are 58 and 82. They're buried in last place, trying to identify which pieces might matter when the rebuild finally turns upward. Houston's beaten them 12 times in 13 games. So no, it's not supposed to be dramatic. Then Seattle scores 5 runs before Wade Miley records an out. Michael Charles Brantley was born May 15th, 1987 in Bellevue, Washington, because his father was playing for the Mariners at the time. Mickey Brantley spent 4 years in the majors and later became a professional hitting coach. Michael didn't only grow up around baseball, he grew up around the daily work of it. Cage work, tiny corrections, the difference between feeling good and actually being right. The family settled in Florida, where Michael starred at Fort Pierce High School. That's Fort Pierce Central High School. Milwaukee chose him in the 7th round of the 2005 draft, 205th overall. So Brantley wasn't a can't-miss prospect. He didn't come with cartoon power or some giant promotional campaign. Brantley hit line drives, he controlled the strike zone, he ran well, and he kept advancing. Then he became the final piece in one of the biggest trades of 2008. Cleveland sent CC Sabathia to Milwaukee for Matt Laporta, Zach Jackson, Rob Bryson, and a player to be named later. Sabathia went superhuman for a few months and dragged the Brewers into the postseason. Cleveland eventually chose Brantley as that player to be named later. The supposed throw-in became the best long-term player in the deal. Brantley reached the majors in September 2009, and it took a few seasons for the full version to appear. He filled in at center field, moved back to left, and steadily turned into a compact swing into one of the most dependable swings in baseball. The nickname Dr. Smooth showed up because nothing looked rushed. His hands, they stayed quiet. His head stayed still. He could wait on a pitch without looking passive, then shoot it wherever the defense had left him some room. In 2014, it all came together. Brantley hit .327 with 20 homers, 97 RBI, and 200 hits. He stole 23 bases, made his first All-Star team, won the Silver Slugger, and finished third in the AL MVP voting behind Mike Trout and Victor Martinez. So that season didn't turn him into a superstar personality. It did turn him into a superstar player who still behaved like Michael Brantley. Then his shoulder started taking pieces of his prime. He played 11 games in 2016 after surgery and complications. Cleveland reached Game 7 of the World Series without him. Brantley fought back, made the All-Star team in 2017, then did it again in 2018 while hitting .308. After 10 seasons with Cleveland, he signed a 2-year, $32 million contract with Houston. And Houston didn't need him to become louder. They needed his plate appearances. They needed a left-handed hitter who could interrupt all the power with something cleaner and harder to disrupt. So by the end of 2019, he'd hit .311 with 40 doubles, 22 homers, and 90 RBI. There's something perfect about Brantley entering baseball history as the player to be named later. For years, he was treated like the part after the headline. Then he became the guy good teams trusted when the headline got tense. Seattle, they attacked immediately. Austin Nola hit a 2-run double. Kyle Seager homered. The Mariners piled up 5 hits, 5 runs, and Miley never recorded an out. Framber Valdez, remember him? He finally got Houston out of the first. In the second, Nola homered, and then it was 7-0. Houston's cleanup hitter hadn't even got to the plate yet. Yordan Alvarez reached on the error and scored it on a wild pitch. It's just 1 run, but the game stopped getting worse right there. In the third, Josh Reddick singled, and Jose Altuve, our hero, doubled. Alex Bregman brought both of them home 7-3. Then the middle innings settled. Houston's bullpen kept Seattle from detonating the game again. Valdez gave length. The relievers kept passing the problem along. And in the 6th inning, Kyle Tucker led off. Tucker's playing today because George Springer's out with a mild concussion. He's still trying to prove it belongs in a championship lineup. And he gets a pitch from Marco Gonzalez and launches the first home run of his major league career. 1 out later, Reddick goes deep for the first time since June. 7-5. Brantley, who entered the night stuck in a 0-for-17 skid, broke it open with a single. Seattle answered in the 7th when Nola hit his second home run. The Mariners had been uneasy for 5 innings. Suddenly, they're back up 3 runs. In the 8th, Robinson Chirinos gets hit by a pitch. Reddick walks, and Altuve ripped a 2-run triple, 8-7. And then Brantley comes up with Altuve at third. Brantley doesn't need to do anything heroic here. He lifted a fly ball to left. Altuve tagged up, and the game is tied. And that's Brantley's value in miniature. The same hitter who can end the night with a bomb. First, make sure the tying run gets home with a controlled out. The 9th passes, then the 10th, then the 11th. The top of the 12th, Seager homers again. Seattle survived the entire comeback and retook the lead 9-8. That should kill Houston, right? Right? Wrong. Yuli Gurriel walks, Miles Straw pinch runs, and reaches second on a groundout. With 2 down, Tucker singles him home, and it's 9-9. Josh Jones strikes out the side in the 13th. Matt Whistler walks Jake Marisnick, Jake the Snake, Jake from State Farm, to open the bottom half. Brantley steps in. Whistler throws a first pitch fastball over the plate. Brantley's swing is short, but the result isn't. The ball carries into the right center field seats. Brantley knows it. The dugout empties. Houston wins 11-8. 4 hours and 40 minutes after falling behind by 7 runs. It's Brantley's 20th homer, and that matches his career high. It's his third career walk-off homer, and it gives Houston its biggest comeback since 1994. Brantley talks about the club's never give up attitude, but he doesn't inflate his own part. He points to the bullpen in the lineup. Even on the night that he hit the walk-off, he explains the win as something everybody else carried together. AJ Hinch calls the win dramatic and admits the start was terrible. Miley stays in the dugout for most of the comeback. Then he hears the walk-off fireworks from inside the clubhouse because the TV feed is a few seconds behind. His review of his own outing is cleaner than any analysis. He says, "I got my butt whipped." So after the game, Houston's 91-50, and that's its best 141 game record ever. The Astros are 13-1 against Seattle, and the magic number drops to 14. The Mariners, they finished the season 68-94, last in the American League West. They got useful players, but they're still 2 years away from winning 90 games and 3 years away from ending the franchise's 21-year postseason drought. Yeah, 21 years. Meanwhile, Houston finishes 107-55, setting a franchise record. The Astros survived Tampa Bay in the ALDS. They beat the Yankees in 6 and returned to the World Series. Throughout October, Brantley keeps hitting. In the ALCS, he adds one of the strangest double plays you'll ever see. He caught an Aaron Hicks fly ball at the wall, spun around, and fired back to first when Aaron Judge failed to retouch. The season ends differently. Washington wins Game 7 at Minute Maid Park. Brantley's the final batter, striking out against Daniel Hudson. For Houston, it's a terrible ending to a monster season. And for Brantley, it begins 5 straight Astros playoff appearances. In 2020, the shortened season, Brantley hits 300 and helps Houston get within 1 win of another pennant. He re-signs for 2 years and $32 million, hits .311 in 21, and makes his 5th All-Star team. Houston reaches another World Series, but they lost to Atlanta. In 2022, Brantley's still hitting .288 when his right shoulder gives out again. He plays his final game on June 26th and undergoes another operation. He can't play in the postseason, but he stays with the team. Players lean on him. Hitters seek him out. When Houston beats Philadelphia to win the World Series, his teammates make sure the trophy reaches Brantley's hands. He returns in 23 after 14 months away. There's only 15 regular season games left in his body, but one is a 4-hit game in Seattle during a desperate division race. Then he homers against Minnesota in the ALDS. Houston loses Game 7 of the ALCS to Texas, and Brantley retires January 2024. Final line, 15 seasons, 5 All-Star selections, 1,656 hits, and a .298 career average. Not bad. He struck out 658 times in more than 6,000 plate appearances. Modern pitching got almost everybody, but it never fully got him. He leaves to be home with his family and coach his kids. And that feels right. Dr. Smooth goes from learning the swing from his father to teaching the next one. So next up we go to May 7th, 2019. Game 7 Blues and Stars. 1 goal allowed in more than 85 minutes. Ben Bishop, he's putting on a masterpiece on one end, and Jordan Binnington has no room to blink at the other. St. Louis needs 2 overtimes and the hometown kid at the net. But before Pat Maroon can finish it, the rookie goalie has to keep the entire season alive. That's Blue 14, Jordan Bennington. Michael Brantley never finished. He never needed the game to revolve around him. He just kept giving the game the right answer. On September 5th, 2019, Houston needed a single, a sacrifice fly, and one clean swing into the seats. Brantley gave them all three. So this is Astro 63. I'm Kevin. Thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you next time.